Okay, so the recording has started. So once again, thank you guys for meeting with us today. Our Q&As will now be done like this. The link is gonna be dropped the same. If you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. If it's meant for you, it's meant for you. And that's the way that I look at it. Appreciate y'all bearing with me during my time off. It was my love bug's birthday. And yeah, you know, I am a mom first. So, but she really did enjoy her birthday. She's 20. Can't believe I got a 20-year-old child. I'm about to have an 18-year-old too, so I'm about to wild back out again in June for his birthday. He's about to be 18. So I'm a proud mom of two of them. So that is that. So today's question is going to be on the SDS only. That's it. Each week we will do a live Q&A just like this. I do understand I cut the comments off in YouTube. I feel like comments are distracting. I feel like instead of taking the information, trying to digest the information, people are so quick to want to type and ask a question, right? So I cut the comments off. Eventually, the comments on IG will go off too. Sorry, but I'm sorry. Because it's a lot to try to keep up with comments, and I feel like it's a crutch for people. And I'm trying to show y'all how I got where I'm at. I didn't have no comments. I didn't have no YouTube. I didn't have nobody I could run to. Despite of what the freak people say, yeah, nobody taught me anything. I was out of 2 classes that I took in the very, very, very beginning. Besides that, everything else is me and golf. Okay. So that's just that. So you guys put your questions in the Q&A. There are 10 up here now. I will answer each one of the questions. Please do not put anything but a question in the Q&A box. That's it. Nothing but questions in the Q&A box. And the chat has been turned off too, so you can't even type in there. So if it's not a question and etc., it's just going to get skipped over. Once this is done, it will be transcribed. The questions will be available for you guys to see. Because for the most part, the questions that you guys have, most people have the same exact questions. So what me and Caleb needs to do, we need to know where you guys disconnect is so we can plug y'all in so y'all can go point blank period. Because the information is there. The answers are there. But people do learn differently. So we need to see exactly what the issue is. So once again, this questions will only be concerning the videos that were dropped in the room, which is the SDS. I have done like a written Q&A that will be dropped later on, either this week or next week, for people just to, you know, jog y'all like the Q&A of the day, the question of the day. I do drop one. I have started dropping one on IG. You guys will be more tailored to what you guys are learning within the VIP room. And I will probably cut the comments off of that until I see people not following directions, and then I'm gonna cut them off again because it's a lot. So we're gonna get to answering the questions. Nephew, are you able to see the questions as well as I'm able to see?
Yes, I can.
Perfect, perfect. So we're gonna get to answering your questions, okay? So the first question is from Natissa. Is there a letter I can see to stop a wage garnishment or UCC? Really not a SDS question, but I'm gonna answer it. Yeah, I'll answer it. So the only way to stop a wage garnishment is to get the garnishment overturned. Ask for the court order that was signed for them to do a wage garnishment. I seriously doubt that there was one, but we all know that the court is the bank is the bank, and that's how they're able to see your information. So you're gonna have to get the wage garnishment stopped first. But due to the fact that you do not make wages and you make compensation, doesn't make sense. So this doesn't say a compensation garnishment. It says a wage garnishment, right? So because it's a wage garnish, it's considered wages and we don't make wages. If you filled out an I-9, you have compensation. So based off of that, you can get that overturned that way, okay? What is the process for leased vehicles? It's the same as the regular SDS process. Actually, leased vehicles are actually easier to do. There's a receipt on my page from a guy He had a Mercedes-Benz lease. He SCS'd it. He put the stamp on the front, turned it around and paid to the order. I believe it was Mercedes-Benz. He put Mercedes-Benz Financial. He signed as agent. He signed as principal. And this is what his letter said. You know your fiduciary duties, do them. That was his instruction letter. The key word that he used to get them to do was the word fiduciary. So it doesn't have to be a 10-page paragraph, a 10-page paper. They're not gonna read that anyway. But you use key words like fiduciary, okay? A barter agreement, because it is a barter agreement. The car was a perk, okay? So you'll do the lease vehicle exactly the same way, okay? Mike, does the SES need to have a SEC tracker flag, a 15 USC? So we only use USCs if we're dealing with credit. Point blank period. Okay. If it ain't credit, we not touching no United States code. Because how 1 minute you're saying you're a US citizen, you're not a US citizen, but now you're trying to use their code. Anything that we're dealing with when it comes to banking, we're using banking terms, we are using the CFR if needed, okay? But everything that you really need to combat these people with the SCS is within their perspective. Point blank period. So, yeah, no, you don't need a transfer flag. I will start, if I was you in my instruction letter, I will use words like fiduciary, your fiduciary duty. If not, I will revoke your power of attorney. Violation of your security exchange filings. I'm gonna call Big Daddy IRS by using not just the 1099 A or C, depending on the situation, but I'm gonna file that big 1099 barter form. And then I'm gonna revoke your power of attorney by filling out the 28 form. Using words like that makes them act to you a little differently, okay? You wanna do this whenever you, Ivana, how do we balance books with SES in past classes? You mentioned that we write an instruction to transfer the remittance coupons to the TDA, but that doesn't work. Oh, it works, you just can do it right now. Can we deposit those coupons into a bank account? You wanna answer that one, Eddie? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to that, there is a fundamental misunderstanding when it comes to that first video about the whole TDA process. Again, a lot of people got it confused of this is all a part of the discharging, when no, that was always an extraneous step, right? So you want to focus on being, huh? Am I good to go? Can you hear me? Auntie, can you hear me? Somebody put a hand up if you can hear me. Okay, yes, y'all can still hear me. So I wanted to explain, like I said, you want to start by getting that bill discharged first, right? And then you focus on the TDA account. But those are two separate processes, right? So getting them to zero out the balance and take care of their fiduciary obligations is something separate from getting them to deposit it in the TDA. And if you cannot even get them to settle out the balance, you don't have any business trying to deposit coupons there, right? But in that same vein, go ahead. In that same vein, it's not just the TDA account where those coupons can be deposited. It would be plenty of places, right? Like the brokerage firms, or even on the proper side of the bank, right? So that there is a distinction between those two, if that makes sense. So you stamp, endorse, send to get the balance, zeroed out, and then getting that deposited is an extra step. All right. Hope that helped. Okay, so the next question is the car dealership employee signed on the retail installment? If the car dealership employee signed the retail installment contract and his name and his title, does that mean I'm not the only signer on this contract? It depends on one, where they signed, but you would have to also look at your specific contract. But again, most of the times you're setting up the terms, and the security interest and everything that we covered before is what gives them their authority. So I don't believe that that would be an issue.
And then you have to realize too, to piggyback off of that, is that in order for a contract to be valid, how many signatures do you need? Two. So that's why when you go and get a purchase order agreement, you make sure that the finance manager signed it. So we had an issue with one of the students. They got a PO, and this is crazy. They got a PO. They register mailed it to the right person, the president of the company or whoever called them. And they flat out told them, we will do this, but you didn't get it signed. It's not an actual contract. So you need those two signatures on there because it takes two signatures to make a contract. So the fact that if you go to Mercedes, so like when I went and got my daughter's car, contrary to what people want to tell you, right? So when I went and got her car, I made sure that they signed it. So they signed it. I didn't do mine registered mail though. I do mine a totally different. I'm not gonna say a different way. Can you do it without sending the registered mail? Absolutely. I went in on the 11th and I got it on the 8th. I did mine right there. So, there's ways to do that. The same process, but I just didn't have to send it registered mail because I knew what to say and I knew who to talk to. So yeah, but you definitely need two signatures. I had to have two signatures on the purchase order in order for it to be considered a valid contract. So just remember that a contract always has two people, just like you are the agent that is the signee, the signer for your business, which is your all caps name, and whoever is in authority at whether it's for a house, whether it's for a car, or etc. Yes, they do need to sign the purchase order.
All right.
Next question. Kristen, I'm sorry. What's the best way to communicate the audit info to the lawyers representing Discover? And we already in arbitration. I sent SDS to indentured trustee owner, trustee CFO back in September 2023, ignored it. I took them to arbitration in January. Arbitration is very slow. It's been going slow. They offered me a deal to wipe my debt clean and to close the account and just forget it ever happened. No thanks, because I know they're making tons off my receivables. I got a securitization audit from your guy. I want to represent to them the info they need to get them to move for me so that I can get my equity and get my shit. So
That was a long one.
that was. Arbitration is very slow, which is why I stopped doing arbitration, because they were not giving us court dates for a year, 2 years out. I don't have time for that because people are impatient. So I stopped doing it because of that. And you have to realize that even in arbitration, it's still not equity. At the point that they wanted to just settle out the debt, close the account, and forget it never happened. If it was me, yeah, I would have did it. And then I would have made sure that I didn't sign nothing that say I can't come back and sue them. And then I would have doubled back around, due to the fact that they are in talks with you to make a deal. Make the deal. Do they know that you have the audit report? They act a little different. Let them know that you have it. Let them know that you're going to file a 1099-B because you're supposed to. The good thing about you in filing the 1099-B is you got the exact CUSIP number. So you know what they made off of you. When you're filing the 1099B and don't have the CUSIP number, let's just say you're doing Discover, you add up all your monthly statements, it come up to $43,000. You will times that by 10 on the 1099B if you don't have the CUSIP number. I always suggest to have the CUSIP number because it makes the IRS work faster. Because guess what? The IRS gonna go get your money for you. They're gonna audit the account as soon as you file the 1099. But when you file the 1099B, that's just an alert to let them know that you're coming. You still have to turn around and file the 1041. Okay? So if it was me, I would do a side deal with them because they're trying to do it off the record with you. I know for a fact they're trying to do it off of the record. It's called a settlement conference. So if you see anything that they send you and it says settlement conference, know that they're not letting the arbitrator know. And that's just between you and them. And I would say, hey, I am willing to accept your offer, but counter their offer and say, I'm willing to let you wipe this debt away. I'm willing for you, it's discovered. Now, this is when you go in and be like, okay, if you don't want me to go tell Big Daddy IRS and Big Mama's Security Exchange, you're gonna wipe my debt clean. You're gonna open in my credit card. And by the way, it is now a fact that I know that you're committing violations against your security agreement. You're committing securities fraud. You're committing tax evasion. And I will just send them the CUSIP number. I wouldn't even send them my whole report. You never let the left hand know what your right hand doing. But as soon as they see that CUSIP number, they'll get the settlement for you. And don't take nothing under no millions. I have watched Discover give people millions to shut up. So now at this point, I will read that audit report. I will understand that audit report. And if you really look at the audit report outside of the Bloomberg screenshot and outside of the original issue discount that came from the Fidelity screenshot, everything else came from the prospectus, which is why I beat the prospectus in y'all head. So that's how I would do. They gave you an offer. Remember, everything that they send you, whether it's a bill in the mail, whether it's a warrant, whether it's show to court, is an offer. You get a denial, it's an offer. Why do you think your denial say you got 30 days to respond to us? Or you can't do an application but every 60 days, because on that 60th day is when they get that original issue discount from your trust account using Fidelity, right? So counter their offer. Let them know now what it is that you got. Because I'm telling you now, arbitration is out of their, how can I say this? It's not in their jurisdiction. So as soon as you get to talk about audit reports and arbitration and stuff like that, I've heard arbitrators say, well, how do we know that's true? You're asking for gap accounting. What is that? We don't know that that exists. But then you have to understand that arbitrators are nothing but ex-lawyers, ex-attorneys. They're all working together. So baby, counter offer them and do it right and tell them what you want. Now is the time. Your case is good enough that they're offering you a deal. So congratulations. I'm gonna clap for you. Because normally Discover will drag, if they know you get to talk about some USCs and 1, 2, 3 and ABC, oh, they're gonna drag it out. But the fact that they're trying to do a deal with you, baby, counter that deal. Now show a little bit of your right hand and let them, well, left hand, because left mean bring in, let them know that this is when your account needs to be open-ended. This is how much you know that they made. They need to transfer your Q, they need to share your CUSIP number. Okay. At this point, I will be filling out a 56F and making them fiduciary according to your terms now. Okay. I will give it to them. I will upload it to the IRS too. Turn the deal into your favor, darling. They're offering you the deal. You don't like the deal because they only gave you partial and you're leaving your equity. And tell them, open in my account. You can stay my fiduciary as long as you're doing what it is that you're supposed to do. Make sure you settle my debt off every month. And now you're going to share my CUSIP number with me, whether they share it to your TDA account or they share it to a brokerage account. And that's how you do that. And let me know how it works out for you, okay?
Yep.
Are you willing to put together an SDS process for those who have different learning abilities? Well, Caleb did come out with an ebook. It literally was I think one day I had him take it back down. We are adding some things to the ebook. So yes, once the ebook redrops, It is the full SES process with examples in there on what to stamp, how to stamp, where to put it, and et cetera. So we are doing that. I have started transcribing my classes and transcribing everything that we're doing in YouTube. I haven't put it yet because we all know I got ops that want to pay me $99 a month to come watch me. The only reason why I have not dropped it yet, but it will be in there. But we are looking at the fact that we do have people that got learning disabilities. I have some people that are blind. I have some people that are deaf. So we are making sure that the things that we bring out in the future will be able to address all of those concerns. So we haven't forgot about y'all. We got you. So that'll be coming back out. The SES ebook will be coming back out this week. Mimi, my question for SES video, does the stamp have to go on every page of the rental contract or on any contract in general? Or is the first page sufficient? You want to answer that, Nathan?
The first page is good.
There you go. The first page.
Yes, it is. But you're not going to hurt yourself if you stamp everything else too.
You sure
And I'll
won't.
put it that way. You'll never hurt yourself.
You sure won't. And with a car contract, I know it got all those additional pages. I will only take the first page because that's the actual breakdown. And then the second page, I'm actually in the process of doing a car contract for a friend of mine. And I got it right here in front of me. So on the first page, I just put the presentation to the United States. The second page, we're talking about other important agreements. At the top, I put revoke all years, all periods on it. Where it says security interest in part C, I wrote a line and put revoked and put her signature. And then at the bottom, I put all other important agreements are hereby revoked immediately. I had her sign it and I got it notarized. The rest of the pages where it talks about arbitration and all of that, I did not put in there because why? Unless it was the part where it talks about warranties, I added that in there. And I had her sign saying that she is revoking of them receiving all of the funds off of her warranties and that it needs to be turned back over to the principal, which is her. I had her sign it and I notarized that sheet as well. And yeah, that was it.
And that's similar to what I did with my car as well. With my contract, I only stamped the first page, but my retail installment agreement, it was longer. It was like 15 pages, but only like the first 7 were actually the agreement of it. And I endorsed on the back of the last page that I had signed on because I had a signature on that first page and then on the back page that I did. So that is also what I did. I crossed out the security interest, got it notarized, and mailed it off to them. So that is the answer.
And another good thing that you guys can add in there, because we know so many people are doing this now, I will go under their security exchange file and get their assignment form. And I will add the assignment form into the packet as well.
Yeah, that I didn't even think of that when I did mine, but you'll never go wrong with an assignment form.
Never.
Especially when transferring securities.
Yeah, that's exactly what I used when I did my daughter's car. I got the purchase order. I left there, went to the bank, got the medallion signature, and came back. And I had the medallion signature was on the assignment form itself, and not the actual PO. And I took it back in there and I talked to who I needed to talk to. They called who they needed to call and they like, hell yeah, give it to her. And I was in and out in 30 minutes. How many people you know can go in and out of a car dealership and be out in 30?
Me.
Right. Oh yeah, us. So yeah, that's how that goes. I keep my step with me. It's a fixture inside of my purse. And one of my beautiful students actually sent me a round date stamp. So I don't go to the post office any longer to cancel my stamp. I cancel them myself. But y'all didn't get that from me. Y'all caught that. And you caught what I said, which means that, that date stamp is available. I have to go to the post office to get it. If you're in a rush, yes, things are supposed to be sent, registered mail, but let's just say you're in eviction or et cetera. FedEx is still considered private mailing though. Now, do you get the same type of, if you need to invoke the Postmaster General? No. But can you send it FedEx? Because it's still considered private mail. Okay? All right. I want more information on how the revocation of POA works. It just like that, you revoking the power that you gave them.
Yeah, see, that's one of those things, one of those questions where it's like you must not have an understanding of what it is you're doing when we say revoke power of attorney, because it's really not that complicated. It is quite literally as simple as you saying, I hereby revoke all powers of attorney given to you, sign and notarize and send it to them. It's nothing more, nothing less, right? Y'all getting caught up on this 2848, but you're getting ahead of yourselves. You're getting ahead of yourselves. A simple...
2 witness signatures and a notary signature, because remember the power of 3. They use numerology. Everything is in 3. I literally put up a revocation of power of attorney paper. You can Google example, a revocation of power of attorney, right? And it's going to come up. If you read the instructions of the 2848, right, you don't have the original power of attorney that you gave them because they filled it out. Okay. So because they filled it out, you don't have it. But if you read the instructions for 2848, it literally says attach a copy of the revocation of POA that you sent to them. So the one that you create, once you send it off to them, you fill out whatever portion you need to fill out on the 2848, you attach the revocation of power of attorney that you sent to the company, and you send it to the IRS. That's it. Y'all make stuff difficult. It ain't that difficult. It was very easy for you to give them the power, right? One stroke of your pen they had. So now one stroke of your pen, take it away. So especially if you're doing an SES on a credit card, a bank account, whatever, anything that you are about to SES within my packet will definitely be a revocation of POA. Because at the point that you've taken away their power of attorney, guess what they can't do? They can't close your account. Now they have to listen to you, but you're going to have to know the proper instructions to give them. So where do you find the instructions? 1 within their prospectus, 2 within the Trust Indenture Act, right? And I will feel that it will be best for everybody. Any bill that you're about to do, any statement, however you want to call it, I will transfer it over to my trust name, number 1. And number 2, I will change the address to a PO box. So I posed a question on Instagram the other day about this. What is it, the bank? It's the head bank. If you really go in there and talk to your Postmaster General, he will tell you that he's the head banker. So when you get things sent from one PO box to the next PO box, you have now stayed in the private. At the moment that it hits your regular mailbox, now you're in the public. I will tell you off experience that anything that is from PO box to PO box, and I send it back to them, to their PO box, they've already always discharged. Why? Because it stayed within the banking system itself, which is the head of the Treasury, which is the post office. And that's why everybody should have a PO. Not one at UPS, not one at whatever these little companies are, straight at the post office, right? That way you stay within the private banking system. Then when you do that, guys, you ain't got to search for no address. Because whatever the PO box address on your statement, because it's PO box to PO box, you can send it right back to their PO box. You kept it private in the banking system, okay? You want to
Oh, yes.
Go ahead, nephew.
Yes. 2 things. And so do you need the POA for your stamp endorsed send? Absolutely. Don't make your life harder than it needs to be. Absolutely. And second, just to clarify, you are not asking them to do anything. You're not making a request. You are notifying them that their power of attorney has been revoked. They have no say in the matter. I just wanted to clear that up because there's going to be inevitably at least 1 or 2 of y'all that's like, Well, they told me that I can't revoke power of attorney. I don't care what they told you. They lied to you. I just want to let that be known right now.
Especially after you upload it to the IRS, baby, because guess what? Once you send it to them, because the law says that there's been people that have done the 2848, but didn't send it to the people, send it to whatever company, it's not a complete process. The law says you have to advise them that that you have sent it, right? You have to give them notification. They cannot deny it. So what happens is once you send it, let's say it's Discover, you send Discover a revocation of power of attorney, and then you turn around and you upload that through your ID me. You know, the ID.me, you need to leave your own. You upload that to the IRS. What's going to happen is that the IRS is going to alert them that they can no longer do anything with your account. Now that law that talks about they can't close your account without your permission, this, that, and the other, now is in effect. Okay. All right. Douglas, I did an SDS with medallion stamp, sent them registered mail to the Department of Treasury, IRS, Austin, Texas, for two back tax coupons, but they didn't get posted. I received the coupons again. My question is, what step did I miss? I can't tell you what step did you miss. Outside of the fact, did you add a payment coupon with it? Did you, and who did you send it to in the IRS? And so you sent the Department of Treasury a gift. The IRS in Austin, Texas, I can guarantee you that's the wrong address. It should have went to Ogden, Utah. And not IRS, and if you would have sent it to the IRS in Ogden, Utah, they would have automatically sent it to the Department of Treasury for you. Then you have to also understand is the height of tax season. So you do have to give them a minute. But did you also add in the IRS payment coupon with it? You want to say something about that, nephew? And who did you address it to? That's the question. Hold on, let me pull up something for y'all real quick. And let me, oh shit, I didn't even do that. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up something for y'all real quick, and I'm gonna tell you who it needs to be addressed to. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, all I was gonna say is, one, did they use the proper stamp for the IRS? He said he sent it to Austin, Texas. Yeah, that's not the address I would have sent it to. But they didn't get posted. I received the coupons again. Yeah, they look like they want you to send that boy again.
The correct way. But hold on, let me pull up.
Yes.
I like going fast like this. Y'all might give me a little bit more off.
Yeah, no, this is super smooth.
Yeah, I like this. Come on, y'all. Y'all, who is y'all in here? And I'm gonna star y'all name because I like y'all. And I don't like people. I know I don't like people. Hold on, let me show y'all something real quick. Share my control. All right, can y'all see my screen? So, the 31 CFR 328.5, the forms of endorsement. If you go down to see, it tells you who it goes to. So you want to find the service center director or the district director of the Internal Revenue Service. You sent it to Austin, Texas, which is the IRS. That's not the Internal Revenue Service. Because there are two different, they look the same, they sound the same, but they're not the same. The location in Ogden, Utah is where you would have sent it. they would have known. If you go pull the IRS manual, it says that if anyone sends a negotiable instrument to them, they are to immediately send it over to the Treasury. And then it would have been done. So address it to them, but then you also need the payment coupon. So let me pull that up so y'all can see what I mean by the payment coupon. And I'm gonna tell you how to fill the payment coupon out. Okay.
Oh wow, I just realized I was muted. I also wanted to add to that if you go on the IRS website, you can find what Auntie's talking about, where it mentions if you send negotiable instruments, it tells you that they have a department that they send it to, that they process it at. So if you want to look for that, you'll find it.
So can you guys see my screen? Perfect. So anytime you're doing anything with the IRS, you want to fill out the form 1040B, which is the payment voucher here. So you put your social. Yes, you got to put your social. The amount that you are paying. So let's just say you owe them $4,252. You want to settle the account out, put negative $4,252. Right? I want to let me. The negative side of it. You put your first name, your initial, if those spouse, always, if it's an area that you are not having to fill anything out, always put NA there. Then you put your address on there, and that's how you'll send it. So you would have attached this to your payment. And then that's it. And that's it. Push come to shove, you can send it to Ogden, Utah. But if you read this, do you really live in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana? Or are we foreign to the United States? So where would you send it? Just send it there. Because you're foreign. A foreign country where every Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Michigan is its own what? Country. So I personally will send it to this address here if it's me. Because if I'm saying I'm not a part of them, because I'm not, because I live in my body and I am foreign to these people here, I will send it there. Okay. Hope that helps. All right. And IRS is very easy. If you send it to the right people, so y'all see I put up a post, you know, and I didn't pay for their post. Where the young lady created 2 instruments. And she sent them to the IRS, the Treasury. And in turn, the amount that she sent them as a negotiable instrument, they turned around and sent her a check. It didn't take them long. She did it in February, and she got that check about 2 weeks ago. Just, you know, like FYI. Where did she get that information from to figure she can do that? The video that's free on YouTube.
Discharge 1 to be specific.
And she just tried it. A lot of this stuff, you don't know if it's gonna work until you try it. But if it's done right, because remember you are a bank. Remember everything has to go through you. Remember that everything that you create the fund. She sent it to the right people and they turned around. So that's like giving the IRS was like giving them a gift. But in turn, that's a barter situation, right? So she gave them something that the Treasury can make money off of. And in return, they gave her something because she gave them something. And that's how that's supposed to work. Okay. Mika, hey Mika. Why is it so hard for apartment leases and rent to find places, to find the place we send to the SES? Because it depends on if it is a, private company, if, who their parent company is hiding up under. So it's just all about doing the research to see. Private people, of course, you know, when you got somebody private, then you have to file a 1099-B, because they don't have access to the window. They're not selling your contract or whatever, but you have to find a company in which it is that they're hitting. Go ahead, nephew. You want to say something, nephew?
Oh no, I'm good.
Do we have to revoke POA for any security transaction? For example, do we have to revoke POA for Discover and American Express before we can redeem our securities? Nephew, can you take that? I gotta take this call.
Yes, I can. So it's definitely one of those things where it is strongly recommended that you do that, right? Have people got remedy without doing that? Yes, but it is something where as long as they have that power of attorney, it gives them just a bit more wiggle room to play around with you. And so in order to make your life easier, send that out. Absolutely. But again, don't swallow a horse and get caught on a gnat, right? Next question. For car contracts, do we send the whole packet to the legal department, copies of the endorsed car contract, or do we create another contract copy with the strikeouts of language we are rescinding? So you can do both, right? In my case, I got a customer copy and I printed out two different versions of it. But on the contract that you have, you can cross out the security interest. You can do all of that on the contract that you're stamping and endorsing. You see what I mean? So it can all be done on the same contract. You wouldn't need another one unless you have maybe two different addresses that you're trying to send it to and you can't decide which one. And so you just put another copy on bond paper and send it there. All right. And then, is this another one? You know what? Why not? For the credit card statements in our instruction letter, do we send the federal lawsuit form? I have an arbitration clause in mind, so I wasn't sure. No, if you're sending a civil cover sheet, it's because you're planning on suing. You don't just want to drop that in for gits and shiggles. It's not, what you want to do in that situation. Not at all, unless you have a suit and you're planning on taking them. Otherwise, they're going to be like, what is this person doing? And they're going to look at you like you're a loon. So you don't want to have to go through that. All righty. I'm wondering when I should consider the 1099-C as income, when it's accepted by the IRS, when it's accepted by the Department of Education, or when I stamp, endorse, send the promissory note. That would be when it's accepted by the IRS and you get back that copy B. Just like that. That's when it's considered income. And it's like at that point, right, you could upload that as your proof. Like, hey, if you're making a CFPB complaint, like, hey, this debt has been charged off. It is now income. Income is not supposed to be reported to the credit report. My good man. Can you show a quick example of stamp, endorse, send, front and back? We have so many examples of stamp, endorse, send, front and back on our pages. You can find American Express, Discover. You can find Mohila. You can find quite a few different companies with endorsements for you to look over. I found in the Act, the UPU, that a 50-cent stamp for rent for 3 years. Yes, sir, that is in there. And $1 stamp for more than 5 years. I have been renting my place since February 21. Also, I know that I can go back 3 years for the IRS. So could I stamp, endorse, send my lease from 2021, even though it's 3 years and 2 months, to cover the past 3 years? Yes, you can. Yes, you can absolutely do that. We had a student who stamped her lease and it was good for 3 years. So you definitely can backdate that and send it in and get the remedy that you're looking for, my good sir. Are the securities that we are doing the stamp endorse send process with considered taxable income that we need to file taxes on? And if so, how do we properly do that? Yes, they are. And it tells you that straight up in their security exchange filings. And it will say specifically under original issue discount that the taxpayer is liable for anything that comes out of the original issue discount, whether or not it's according to their usual method of accounting or not, right? So this is their way of saying, even if your paperwork or when you're filing it, even if it doesn't reflect properly because you didn't file it right, you're still liable, right? This is why Auntie explained when you go get a house, when you go get a car, whenever you get a bunch of things in a year, the reason why your taxes are higher is because they're running up all these OIDs and you're responsible for those taxes. So the IRS is seeing so much more money on their side, and there is such a large disparity between that and what you're reporting, right? So you do need to properly file your taxes. The ways we do that, 1099 A through C, right? 1099 barter form is really going to be influential in this process. To file, and that's going to be that. So you do, short answer, you do file the taxes, 1099B. That's how you're supposed to do it. Alrighty. I have a warrant and a couple tickets in 2 counties. Is there a way I could stamp, endorse, send all of those, that I could go ahead and finish the process of canceling my license? Thought I canceled it already, but it turns out I was too late. Tried canceling it a day after getting a ticket and caught a D6 suspension on it, and now they won't let me fully cancel it now. Okay. So for this, you definitely would want to get rid of those 2 citations. And you can definitely stamp, endorse, send the warrant for sure, because those are securities created in the case. So you just need to get that process taken care of. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna have to get that court situation remedied, but it is possible. All right. Next question. One moment, y'all. Give me just one moment.
Okay, I'm back.
Perfect.
My sorry guys, I had an emergency call I needed to take. Okay, what question we on?
We are on what is the proper way to invoke the postmaster when sending securities with the declared value?
What is the proper way to invoke the postmaster? With the postmaster sheet, is a little tricky though. Is the bill going to a PO box? Is it staying within the banking system, or did you put it in the public? Which is why it's so important, y'all, please get a PO box. It's gonna make y'all processes so much easier, okay? So there is a form. Hold on, let me pull it up for y'all. Give me 1 second and I'll pull it up.
Yeah, I was just about to answer that, but I had to get me a drink of water. I answered like 8 questions in a row.
I know that's right.
I just kept going back to back. I was parched, and you came back right on time.
He was parched, y'all. He was parched.
But yeah, there's a form that you fill out for the postmaster, and it actually gives you specific instructions for how long you're supposed to wait after delivery and stuff like that. It's very specific,
And I'm going
and it's not hard to find at all.
Hold on, I'm about to pull it up for y'all. Okay.
Raise your hand if you're liking this Q&A system. I think is very efficient.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
That's what I like to see.
I didn't put in the wrong number, y'all, and pulled up a new form. I'm about to search this form, 40, 61, 56. Hold on, let me leave this up so I can go back to it. That's normally how it happens when I'll be looking for something else and something else will pop. Like, wait. All right. Let me know when y'all can see it. Raise your
It's
hand.
up.
Yeah. And everybody just don't care. This is the form, guys. If you go to the bottom, you will see that it is form 8165. Okay. But now let's get into this form. Company name, that's whoever you're complaining to or whatever. The first name and the last name will be who is in charge. That will be depending on what company it is. It could be the CEO, it could be the securitization department, whoever signed the security exchange form. It just really depends on who you're sending it to. All of their information goes there. It's very self-explanatory. It even tells you how to write it. Took us back to school like we're taking a meat test. You see it says black or dark blue ink pen and in all capital letters. Because remember, we're dealing with businesses, so everything you have to follow this exact, including the fact that it needs to be a ballpoint fountain pen. Yes, it makes a difference because they scan this form into a computer. Okay. Of course, this is your information here. Check one of the following. Can they contact you? I will always say U.S. mail. I will say email, U.S. mail. They may call you, but if you don't know what to say, yeah, don't do written communication, okay, y'all, because you don't want to mess up your own stuff. On what day were you contacted, blah, 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 all that stuff. So this fills out. Do you have an envelope permit number? You don't know what that is, look it up. You can definitely get a permit number for an envelope. Okay. The postage meter number, so y'all know how when they send you them bills and they got a meter number on there. Okay, if it's on there, you can put it there. If it's not, you don't have to. Because remember, if it's not, a asterisk mark by it. It is not mandatory. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of this form. How did you lose money? What did you pay? How did you pay? Other, of course, it will be a security. We also know that our coupons are a check. But let's get down to what you can do as a complaint. So it can be an advance payment, a credit card, credit repair, loan. Fiduciary. Y'all see that right there? Bribery, kickbacks, embezzlements. Y'all know these are embezzlements and kickbacks and bribery, right? If it's dealing with your estate, you're definitely dealing with your estate. Okay. Investment, securities and stocks. You definitely know you're going to press that, right? Mortgage fraud, for all my mortgage people. Mortgage fraud. Now, what normally happens, and then you can tell them what happened here, etc. Sign it and you send it in, okay? If you pull the instructions, which they do have, let me put, it even tells you where to send it to. The Criminal Investigation Service. Now what happens is, and the reason that you gotta make sure you use black or dark blue ballpoint pen is that they're gonna upload this into the system, okay? As soon as they upload that into the system, because remember the post office is the bank, that other company is gonna immediately, get notification that you have filed against them with the head banker. They're probably gonna get the call. There was one person that I was told, I can't verify this because I didn't see it, I didn't hear it, but they told me that after they sent that particular form, it was for a mortgage, their mortgage company called them and offered to give them $4 million to retract that sheet of paper. Unfortunately for them, they thought they knew it all and they declined to offer. You crazy as hell. So you gonna give me $4 million? I'm gonna take that $4 million. And then I know to turn around and make big dog IRS, Big Daddy, go do my taxes on the 1099-B and the 1041. And then I'm gonna come back and get my money that you made off of it. I know what battles to pick. And I'm telling y'all now, there are so many people have gotten settlement offers. But they like, oh, they made $350 million and they only trying to charge me $4. Or they're only trying to give me $2. Do you have $2 million now? $2 million can change your life, I'm trying to tell you. Give you the life of your dreams. Because especially when you know, oh, you're gonna give me $2 million. You can't make me sign an NDA. And even if you do, the Security Exchange has already said that it is unlawful for them to make you sign an NDA when they have committed securities fraud. And the Security Exchange said, hey, get your offer, but please come tell us so we can go get ours too, so we can find them, right? I would have took that $4 million. I would have signed whatever they wanted me to sign, transfer me my shit right now, 4 million up, okay? I'm 4 million up. And then I know to go file my 1099 barter form. If I don't have my QSIP, I'm going to times it by 10. And then I'm going to turn around and do my 1041. Because guess what? When the IRS Big Daddy gets to knocking on they door, IRS going to get my money, no questions asked. And then I got that too. So I got 4 million up. I done got your ass in trouble. And I done got my securities back. Pick y'all battles. Work y'all steps. Sometimes you got to take the smaller in the beginning so that in the end you still win, because still 4 million is still a win. Like how many people have ever touched $4 million? A lot of people have never touched $4 million, right? So I would have took that in the beginning knowing that my backup plan is to finish off and to get the rest of my money back. And instead of me having to talk to these people to get it, argue with these people to get it, no, argue with Big Daddy IRS. Okay, and they're not gonna argue with Big Daddy, because then now they gotta pay taxes, because the taxes is owed. They are the ones that owe the taxes on the securities, not us. So not only did you have to give me 4 million, now you gotta pay Big Daddy, and then Big Daddy gonna go get my money too, because we are the beneficiary. We the everything. And it's called delegation. The IRS is really our friend when you know how to deal with them, when you're dealing with them in the proper capacity. Nobody's filing their taxes right. Nobody. Unless you know to file a 1041, unless you know to file a 1099B. And they're supposed to be done every quarter, every 3 months. Okay, so that's your answer. When it comes to a car contract that was refinanced, ooh, how does it work to get your money back from that original creditor? I think more so my instruction letter. How does it compare to the SES I sent to the current creditor? I'm just letting them know that I want my funds back. SES, the original contract. How does that work with a refinance? Well, at the moment that you refinance, you're in a whole different ballgame right now. Because now you took on a new debt. The old debt was paid. In order to get your funds back from them, because they are still on your contract, you will have to remove their POA and request your funds back. With the new company, you just SES them, but you enter into a contract with them. Now, if it's a mortgage and you refinance, you change the whole terms. It's not the original no more. So you got to do a little extra if you do a refinance on a mortgage. If it's a refinance on a mortgage, you can't even pull the homestead credit out of it because you refinance the original homestead. So it's done the same way. Normally, once it's refinanced and you close out that account on the public side of it, it is definitely still open up on the private side. You may have to, threaten to sue them. You may have to, in that case, I would definitely pull their UCC 11 from Delaware to show that you never really owed them originally, right? And then it shows that they've been paid twice because when you refinance and they send you the letter saying that your car has been paid off through that particular lender, so now you paid them again, and then now you got to deal with the new company. That's why I never suggest for people to refinance because it's different. The rules are different. So hopefully that answers your question. My apologies if the credit don't meet the qualification. I signed a bill and I sent it to the bank to get it under. Can I return it to him to the individual? What a bill is like. Well, it kind of does fit the question because we are talking about SES, but let me give y'all a little buzz about me. It's right here, guys. If I say the topic is blue and then you ask me something that's red, knowing that I said that the topic is blue, but y'all just feel like, oh, I'm gonna ask her anyway, that grinds my nerves, right? It does. It really pisses me off, to be honest with you, right? But this question does equate to what we were talking about. Hold on, y'all, it's myself. My apology, the king was calling. Okay, so, because it meets the qualifications. So you actually do meet the qualifications, so you're good, I'll answer it. If you receive a signed PO and I take it to my bank to get it endorsed with a medallion signature, guarantee stamp, can I send this to the indentured trustee and the master trustee for the vehicle to be paid in full? You are supposed to use the PO, you do need the medallion signature, but it does not go to the trustee or the master trustee unless you put the vehicle in the name of a trust. Remember, the trust, only a trust can deal with a trust. And if you're not working in trustee capacity, because are you the trustee over your account or are you just the agent? If you haven't filed the proper forms with the IRS and is not on the record properly that you are the trustee for your for the principal, then no, it will not go to the indentured trustee or the trustee. Depending on what the car lot you got it from, all I would say is if you got it from BMW, I would send it back to BMW Financial. If you got it from Mercedes, it'll go to Mercedes Financial. It will not go to the dealership bank. It will go to whoever the manufacturer is, just as the post that I put up the other day when people come like, oh, that's a retail installment agreement. No, it's not. It's a retail purchase order. They're not the same. And I put up an example of who does a purchase order go to. So hopefully that answers your question. Can you SES process for accounts that are on litigation, closed, and delinquent? Yeah, you can. If you're in litigation though, if you got an arbitration agreement, you get the case thrown out due to mandatory arbitration, because arbitration works both ways. If they want to sue you, they gotta do it via arbitration, because that's what the contract says. So it works both ways. But even as it's closed or delinquent, how long has it been closed? Because it may be only closed on the public side and it's not closed on the private. Even with delinquent, how can anything be delinquent? The only thing is delinquent is that you're not selling it out your account and you're giving them gifts. So yeah, you can. Do we need to be operating from a trust when communicating with the indentured trustee? Yep. Because only a trust can deal with a trust. Period. If you're not dealing in a trust and you're dealing with just you as the agent for the principal, then it will go to the issuer, not the depositor. It will go to the issuer. Now, if you're dealing in trust, it will go to the depositor. To the depositor of the trust. Hopefully that answers. How would you suggest an 18-year-old fresh out of high school go to studying and learning and executing this estimate? The first thing they need to do is study and learn it and then execute. If it was me and they're 18, they need to start with the recording national status. They need to do their Minnesota 20. They need to put it on the record that they are now of age, depending on your state. Certain states, you're not considered grown until 21. I think it's only like Alabama, but the rest of them is 18. So they need to do the steps in the recording national status. Start from there. That's very important. When dealing with private companies, Cox Communications, is the SES process the same? And how would you find a trustee? Cox Communications is not a private company. They actually have a parent company. Has a big public company and it's very easy to find. If you haven't been able to find it, good luck. It's there. I promise you it's there. You gotta find out who their parent company is. But Cox Communication is a major communication company. So they're up under another company. So that's how you'll find it. I have a buyer's order for a vehicle. Is that the same as a purchase order to send back to the company? Depends on the company. But yeah, do you know what a buyer's order is? If you know that a buyer's order has nothing but the amount and the price of the vehicle in there, I just so happen to have one on my desk because I'm doing somebody's car for them. It's the same thing, a buyer's order, purchase order, buy, purchase, buy, purchase. So it's the same thing. Are we revoking POA as well from these contracts or just the security? Huh?
Come on now.
Huh? Let me read that again. Are we revoking POA? When you revoke POA, you're revoking everything. That includes their security interest. Because the security interest is the security which you sign. The interest is all the money they're making on you from the original issue discount and the secondary market. What documents they did to sell it? Charlene Cumberson, you've been with me too long to ask me that question. No disrespect, love. Some of y'all names I remember. A lot of y'all faces I remember. So you've been with me too long to ask me that question. I don't know. You tell me what documents you need to see. I would like to ask against my lease, the private landlord, you can't. He was smart. He put his house in a trust, baby. He did a move I do. Yeah, you can't. He's a private landlord. First of all, he doesn't have access to the treasury window. He's not getting an original issue discount. He's not selling yourself on the secondary market. And your landlord very smart. You might want to take a page out of his book because he protected his asset with a trust. So yeah, no, you can't SES. The only thing with that is that I personally will file. You can do it yearly, you can do it quarterly. Learn how to file your taxes properly. There's a part on there that asks you can put that on the physical tax itself. But now you're gonna get into the fact that once you put your landlord down on one of them tax forms, he's gonna be responsible for taxes. So yeah, at that point, he could tell you, he don't want you to rent from him. So that will be, a decision that you have to make on your own, but it's a private matter. Okay, I have a private landlord as well, until I decide to go buy. And I don't, I just file just how much rent I pay. And then I get it back to the I. My first SES, I received a rejection letter stated it was not a negotiable instrument and not a form of payment they could accept. Would I send a response to the letter they sent me stating the code, negotiable instrument and discharge, and would I send it back to both the servicer and say where the response came from as well as the CFO of the bank where I originally sent the register contract? The servicer is just a servicer. All they are there to do is the service. If you look up the way everything moves under the SG Global, you'll know that the servicer is just to call you and act like, everything is with them. They are the ones that process the payments and et cetera. But what codes would you be using? I would not dare use any code. Talking about is negotiable instrument. I'm not using no UC3-30. I'm not using none of that. What I am going to do is go pull this company prospectus and I'm going to show them in their own words that they say that they have taken my contract and turned it into a receivable that they are now receiving funds from on the primary market, and they are now in violation of their own security exchange filings by selling it on the secondary market, and that they don't want you to blow the whistle, then they need to conform. That's where I'll finish. I was ready to send GM Financials and Mercedes the contracts and statements. I would send them to the depositor and Mercedes-Benz retail receivable since I don't have them in trust. Are you trying to get a car or you already got a car? And if you already got a car, it will go to the issuer. Who are you paying? Is the question. And Mercedes-Benz retail receivables. It makes you go, to why my contract said a retail purchase order. Some of y'all will catch that. Some of y'all won't. But it'll go to whoever you're paying. So I would send it to, if it was me, this contract will go here. And this contract will go to Mercedes Financial, if it was me. And Mercedes Financial is located in Farmington Hills, Michigan on West 12th Road. Do you fill out a CN Form 982 at the same time you're sending 1099-C or 1099-A? That's not an SES process, and I refuse to teach y'all taxes. I like my life. And people mess up everything. So you will literally have to be a very, very, very close person to me or somebody that I know is ready to receive that type of information, and you have to sign an NDA before I will ever give it to you. So I can't tell you if you need to find an ad to me. I'm not going on the record talking about that. Sorry. I sent my car note with Capital One 3 months ago. The company has not responded. What would you recommend me to do? Always have a backup plan when you send in people stuff and know that when they don't respond what it is that you're supposed to do. And say Capital One, you gotta hit them hard. Okay. You gotta
that was the trifecta.
Yeah, Capital One, they played, man. They wouldn't even drag you out in arbitration. One girl sent her audit report. They basically said, we don't care about that. I said, oh, Capital One got big balls, huh? I said, oh, Capital One with the shit. Yeah, I tell y'all all the time. Have a plan A, B, C, D. Okay, if they don't accept this, what's my next step? But what y'all do is y'all run out here and you do one thing, and oh my God, it doesn't work, and you don't know what to do next. You shouldn't operate like that.
No.
Have been getting away with stealing from us for years. Okay, you have to say the right things and do the right thing, right? So they will definitely get anybody with Capital One. I'm telling you now, revocation of power of attorney before you touch anything with them. Because if not, guess what? They can come take your car, they can cut off your credit card, and Capital One is known for it. So the first thing you do is you chop off the head with Capital One, remove their power. And that's what the revocation of power of attorney. You send it to them, you do send what you got to send to the IRS. But then that also means that you have to appoint somebody else, right? So who you going to appoint? Things to make you go, Who else would it be? Who's had all of the power all this time? But you never appointed yourself? That part. Or if you got a trust, you ain't never appointed trust? That part. So if you remove POA, you got to add somebody. So who would you add? So it was Tyler Hill, and I was removing POA, and now I need to add a fiduciary. I need to add a POA. It will be tagged Tyler Hill, right? Because on the 2848, the taxpayer is Tyler Hill, all capital letters. The representative will be Tyler Hill, upper lowercase. And if he got a trust, that's representative 1. If he got a Tyler Hill living estate trust, that would be representative 2. And if I was Tyler Hill to revoke everybody's POA at the top, I'll put revoke all years, all period. It tells you on the 2848 and in the instruction. So you have to remember when you move in POA, who the POA? Because what'll happen is you're removing a POA and then you'll call them and they're gonna say, well, we can't talk to you. We need your trustee or we need your power of attorney. But if you didn't appoint the power of attorney, then guess what? They can't talk to nobody. So now your account just sits. Do we need our instruments notarized? Depends on which instrument. Some of them need notarization, some of them need medallion signatures. So it just really depends. I will always notarize it because once something is notarized, you have now just sealed it because a notary is higher than a judge. It is now a lawful, not legal, but lawful document. Now, what makes it lawful is the fact that only a living person can write, which is why there's a notary to say that they seen you affix your signature on this document. And remember, only living people can write, right? Only living beings can. So as a backup, absolutely. Y'all heard me say on the contract that I'm doing for a friend of mine on her car contract. And that's crazy because if I am mistaken, hers is through Capital One. Let me look, hold on, y'all. Is it through Capital? I think it is. Yeah, it's Capital One. So this will give you a little example of how I did her revocation of power of attorney. It says revocation of power of attorney at the top. And I got I and her name with her mailing address. Hereby revoke all powers of attorneys executed on the date of the contract made by me and appointing Capital One and any affiliate attorney of Capital One as my attorney in fact. In the witness whereof, she signed her name as principal. And then at the bottom is the witness acknowledgement. The foregoing revocation was signed by, I put her name in our presence, and we, at the request and at their presence, and in the presence of each other, each of us being over the age of 18, have hereunto subscribed our names as witnesses on, I did this on the 17th. And then there was 2 witnesses, and then the notary signed it. It's really that simple. I, whatever your name is, with a mailing address of, whatever your address is, hereby revoke. Boom. Make sure you put the word all, and I put it in capital letters, and I italicize it, and I bold it, and I underline it, so that they can know don't play with me. All powers of attorney executed, and I did it back to the date of the contract, made by me appointing Capital One, but we know that Capital One takes it and sends it to the Capital One Financial, Capital One Trust. So I made sure I said Capital One and any and all affiliates, trustees, and digital trustees, whatever, as your attorney in fact, and you just revoke it. Get it notarized with it. Now, on her physical contract, in the areas on the first page, I'm sorry, on the second page, where it talks about other important agreements, where it talks about the security interest, the being able to repossess, yada, 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 all of that. At the bottom of that page, I put all other important agreements are hereby revoked immediately. I had her sign it. We got it notarized. On the top, I put in blue, because blue is for alive, revoke all years and periods. And then I created her 2848. I revoked them through the IRS. I appointed her trust to it. And that's what you should. And I hope that answers your question. Okay. I give y'all 20 more minutes. How can I get the 10 match on my 1099A? They keep emailing me. Find the correct EIN number for the company that you're using. And you can find EIN numbers are public information. You can find it on them. And so if they're emailing you, then that means that you didn't put the right address. What is the proper address for Discover Card and check it? You want me to do your work for you? You really thought I was gonna give you that answer? Yeah, I'm not. Go find it. But if your bill is transferred over to a PO, then you will need the address box, because then you stand within the banking system and you can send it to the PO because at the end of the Discover thing. So it can go over to lockbox funding. And so now they can't deny you because you stay within the private banking system. Because now at that point, if they do not conform, then now you can pull out that big 8165 form to the Postmaster General, and they don't want them type problems. But see, when you get your statements, bills, whatever you want to call them, even though they're statements, sent to a public address, now you can't go from, it went from a private PO box to a public address to now you're trying to know, you have to stay within the same system. So PO box to PO box, then you never have to worry about finding the address. Keep it to the PO box.
Boom.
If you want to do this one.
I sure do.
Okay.
What are the differences in methods for stamping a promissory note and stamping a bill? Should we only use book entry stamp for bills and not promissory notes for faster processing? Does pay to the order stamp always go on the back? Do we put the amount on promissory notes, contracts, or just bills? Okay. So the differences between when you're stamping a promissory note or a bill are going to be very minute, because you're still going to use the treasury stamp on the top, left-hand side. It does not particularly matter whether it is the book entry stamp or not. One of them is for faster processing. It doesn't affect whether or not they're going to process the instrument or not. And does the pay to the order stamp always go on the back? So when you're writing pay to the order, if you have your coupon, like if it's a regular statement, you write pay to the order on the actual front of the coupon, the face of the coupon. If it's a promissory note or a contract, you do it on the back in the center. And do we put the amount on promissory notes or just bills? So if you have like an actual promissory note, the amount is already going to be on there. But if you have a bill, you want to write that out as well. And that's that.
Now, if the county tax office will not provide their EIN, that's not a question for them. But if you know that the county tax office runs up under the state, then there's your EIN. Or you can go look it up. They're not gonna always give you that. Y'all gotta do some work. Please do some work. The attorney provided a different contract for what I have in arbitration. The attorney appears to be bought as she didn't acknowledge my objection. So one attorney represents both Gridstress and Cardano. They and the arbitrator said nobody won. Did the arbitrator tell you nobody won for real? Well, that's a good thing for you. Because arbitration stands. You lose an arbitration, you hit. You lose it. That's what I'm saying, y'all. Man, I'm so leery about dropping that arbitration course in VIP because y'all don't mess up the whole. That's why I took them back 2 years. I did an arbitration course. What was that? In 2022? Or was it last year, nephew? It was last year, the beginning of last year. I did a,
It was the beginning because we were finishing up the series. Actually, it may have been end of 2022, like December-ish. Yeah, it was like late 2022, early 2023, because we were in the middle of the series.
yeah, I did an arbitration class and told people, do not run out here trying to do arbitration. And now they
And everybody did.
and and they lose. And they had arbitration talking about USC. I'm like, that's not like
Nope.
that ain't gonna work. Like I requested their accounting a gap, and one arbitrator flat out told them, well, how do we know that exists? I was like, you gotta lose that case because I'm not gonna help. Nobody won. So if nobody won, what I would do is I will go and get Carvana's UCC from Delaware that shows bridge credit, that who is the actual the debtor, which is not you. So I will pull that. And in that case, I will also get my audit report, and then I will send them an intent to sue and an intent to blow the whistle to the securities. And in an intent to sue, if the car is in a trust name, your chance to record is in Tennessee. If it's in your all caps name, which is a business, then you will use Delaware. So y'all remember that? There's two chances to record. One is for business, one is for trust. Okay. The one for trust is in Tennessee, the one for business is in Delaware. So I will go at them like that. I won't be hollering no arbitration. I wouldn't be hollering no federal court. I will be hollering, I'm blowing a whistle. Okay. And I'm calling Big Daddy. Y'all know who Big Daddy is. And then see how they react to you towards that. Carvana is normally really easy. So your case must have been really, but due to the fact that nobody won, and the reason that the arbitrator did that, they said they're not giving it to that. Because technically, the arbitrator cannot rule on securities fraud. Period. And unfortunately, you can't get people like me to represent y'all in arbitration no more, which is why I don't do it. I literally had attorneys putting in motion to remove me, talking about I'm not an attorney. And they're going to find some law that came from 1883 to back them up. So you literally stuck on those cards by yourself. Now, unless you put me on three-way. And then I tell you and then you restate it, right? It's a good thing nobody won. So double back around and you're going to send your intent to sue to the law department. Now, how you scare them, okay, is I will fill out a 1099B. If you can get your CUSIP number, great. If you can't get your CUSIP number, don't fill it out, that part out. But I will fill out a 1099B and I will put it in my packet and let them know that you got these amount of days to respond to me, or I'm going to get to filing with the proper people, which is the IRS, as well as the Security Exchange whistleblower. Okay, we just had a student. I didn't post it because I know everybody's gonna copy it, but since I got y'all on the line, there was one of the students who wanted his credit report cleaned through Equifax. Did a CFPB complaint for Equifax, and he put on their fidelity bond number, their SEC number. He put that they're in violation of their contract with the SEC. And you know, on Consumer Financial Bureau, it'll ask you what remedy do you want. His remedy, he said, I want you to put everything updated as agreed, and I need my credit score to say 850. Well, everything has been removed. Everything says updated as agreed, and he now have an 850 credit score. No bull. So once you have the proper foundation, that's all you need. That's why I'm like, there is no step by step. It's foundation. Once you got the foundation, you get off of that. You see the one guy who got his house done. The last one that I posted with his house, dude flat out told them that they running a criminal organization, because they running a Ponzi scheme. He used those words. He checked his credit, house paid off. But like I told him, if you file 1099Bs and you file Cs and your credit report say your house is paid off, if you don't do the rest of the steps that I talked about in the mortgage class, guess what? They will come back 3 months later and take your house. Why? Because you got a contract with them that said they got the right to sell it. You got a contract with them that said that they can be the trustee. So guess what? You got to flip all of that around. You got to put it on the record. They cannot deny you. You are the head honcho. Remember that, y'all. So you got to know how to deal with these people. Oh, you're not going to do what I say? You're not going to do your fiduciary duty like you're supposed to? Well, guess what it is that I'm going to do? I'm going to snatch it. Not only am I snatching it, I'm snatching it back from the original day that I gave it to you. So guess what? Now you got to give me the account according to GAAP. Now you got to give me every 1099 you file. Now you got to give me any original issue discount. Because guess what? You took it from the beginning. That's why it's very important that when you remove these people POA, do it from the beginning, not you didn't have it for 2 years and now today I'm removing your POA effective today. No, no, no. I'm removing it from the original date and it's effective the date that I sent it to, right? And if y'all know that they have changed the law, in a case like that, I will mail it, I will fax it, and I will email it. Email and fax are considered, if you can show that it went through, it's considered served. So they'll get it all 3 ways. Ain't none of that, oh, we lost your mail. Well, you send it to an email, and if you set your emails up right, it's a function inside of your emails. If you want to know if somebody opened your email or not, it's a function in there. As soon as they open, you're going to get a notification that says Sally John Sue opened your email at 1:32 a.m. So then that's how you do that, y'all. Okay, but yeah, that's what he did for Equifax. And now he got an 850 credit code. Nothing on his credit report, but it's like 850. Because that's what he wanted. And he told them that he wanted $40,000. He said, when they send me the money, he said, I sent them my routing information. They'll do it. We had a student, wasn't that was in 2022, the student that we had, Kayla, who put it on her CFPB complaint that she wanted to be paid, and she put her routing and account number, and she sent a receipt that the money that she told them she wanted, they gave her.
Yep, I remember that.
Go down to the bottom of my Instagram page, it's on there somewhere.
Yep, it was for $4,200. I remember it to this day.
Yep. It sure was $4,200.
Actually, I remember what I said in the video. I said, who else is giving out this much return on investment? Because she put in the deposit for the class was like maybe $100, and she ended up making it back times 45. It was crazy.
And quick too. It wasn't long after she did this.
It was the next day. It was less than 24 hours.
And she said that she opened up a special account because, of course, she put her routing and account number on a open site. She said she opened that account just so that she can get money from these companies, and she woke up with $4,200 in there from them from a CFPB complaint. So it's all in what you say and how you say it. And I'm telling y'all, the words that they do not like is fiduciary, power of attorney, big dog IRS. I don't even know how to whistle, but I didn't blow it on a whole lot of people. Can't whistle. That's something I ain't learned how to do since I was a kid. Y'all see that? I can't whistle, but I'll be whistling like a bug on these companies. Okay, like blow the whistle. I'll play the song. Okay, y'all know I will. Blow the whistle. Use the words that fiduciary, because they have a fiduciary duty. What is their fiduciary duty? To file your taxes, file the proper 1099B. But they turned around and they're doing it all, right? They going to get your original issue discount. They selling your security, but you turn around and tell them they can have it. Then what they do is they put it in a fund, and every 90 days when you don't come get it, they say you abandoned it, and now it's a gift to them. So that's all that. Do you need an estate trust before sending the SES? Nope. Would it be best? Yep. But no. And then you have to look at, is the bill in an estate trust name? I keep telling y'all, get an estate trust in your all capital letter name. Get the EIN for it and call all your companies and tell them that you have transferred it to a trust and give them the EIN number. not the social, because remember the social is the debtor. So y'all are transferring your bills into a trust name. It is the estate trust, and you got an EIN number for it. And it will automatically settle your bills out. Like there are several people who followed exactly what I said, and now they get their bill every month, and they don't have to do anything with it because it automatically settled it out. Because remember, they went to your trust, they went to your estate. Every company that you file something with, they go on IRS.gov and fill out a fiduciary form saying that they're your fiduciary. They're your power of attorney. They fill out a 56F. Why do y'all think in the terms and conditions, because y'all been reading them now, right? Where it says that we can take your signature and use it. They're taking them and slapping them on these 2848s and these 56F forms because you gave them all the power. If you have defaulted on our agreement and, we got 111. And it says, American Express is acting as your non-fiduciary agent. Is the process the same? What agreement did you default on? And the fact that they say they're acting as your non-fiduciary agent, tell them you don't want them to be your fiduciary agent and appoint yourself. The process is still the same. Revoke this. Or, since you acting as my fiduciary, don't look at the 9 word because that don't mean shit. They still acting as your fiduciary agent. Acting fiduciary agent. Tell them what to do. Do you know what to tell them to do? I will pull their prospectus and look at what they do, and I will turn around and write them a letter and tell them to do that. Or you'll remove them as your non-fiduciary agent. And then you can report them to the IRS because fiduciaries have a duty to report and do your paperwork to the IRS. Okay. You mentioned something in regards to including the I-9 with the SES. No, I didn't. I don't know where you heard that at. The I-9 has nothing to do with the SES. The I-9 is when you're trying to get them good food stamps and that good medical and that good cash that we all supposed to get. The I-9 proves that you have compensation and not wages. So if anybody's trying to get it and you're like, they denied me, they normally will deny you because you have to remember the customer service representative that did your application only know what they were taught. You more than likely have to do an appeal, okay? But when you do your appeal and you prove that you do not have wages and that you have compensation, all you got to do is tell your job to give you a copy of the I-9 form that you filled out and upload it. Or you can do it at the time that you do the application. I would do the application, and when it asks you for documents like wages, we're talking about wage part or check stub part, they ask, well, get the I-9 form because I don't have any wages. And the I-9 form proves that because you fill out I-9 forms, they tell you that it's for that they verified your ID and your social. They did, but it's also to verify that you get compensation. The only thing you get wages off of is securities. Why do you think people get audited? So you got all these companies, American Express, Discover, acting as your fiduciary, filing 1099-Bs for you because they filed them. Trust and believe they did. Go pull your tax record. And then the IRS like, you ain't pay no taxes on. When technically they flip the box and put you where they're supposed to be and the taxes is really on them, which is why you have to go correct the record with the 1099-B. They file one and put themselves in your spot and put you in their spot. So no, you do a 1099-B corrected so that the proper people can pay the taxes that they're supposed to pay. But the I-9 form is not for SES. It's for the big food stamp. Okay. Where can I find the trustee issuer for National Grid? I don't know, never heard of that company. And SPG Global, SEC.gov. Hell, it may even be if you go on their website and scroll all the way to the bottom and look at legal or investor, it'll tell you right there. My disconnect is with the SES. That's not really a question. I don't know. Stamp it, you endorse it, you send it. That's what it stands for. Stamp, endorse. Yeah. Came up with that, doesn't it? So y'all hear people talk about it. It came to PATHS2FRDM. We made that. Yes, step to front, 31 CFR. flip it over, pay to the order. Send it. The ebook will be out this week. Hopefully that'll help you. I have an old car contract with a cancellation of debt letter from the finance company. Oh, they canceled your debt. I have the car in the title with bank's name on it. Do I still need to do the 1099-C with the SES? No. Oh, you got the car title. I have the car in a title with the bank's name on it. So they still got the lien on the car, is basically what you're saying. So I will take this cancellation of debt to show that the car company canceled the debt, and I will go down to my taxation office that runs the DMV, and I will give them that, and you challenge the lien. Y'all know y'all can challenge y'all liens? So that's just like if you get a UCC letter and show that you are not the original debtor, and you take that to your taxation office, they'll take the lien off of the car. Or if you call the finance company, if it's under 7 years, and tell them to give you a settlement of the account, tell them that your trustee, this is how you get them to give it to you. Be like, my trustee needs to show that this car was paid for. Can you send me a copy of the voided check or the settlement of account? They're going to send you a copy of a check that got your name on it. That look like you wrote it to them. You take that to your taxation office, they will remove the lien. We've had several students do it. You can challenge any lien. Do y'all know that? Yeah. So that's how you do that. Take the cancellation of debt. Now, because they did send you a cancellation of debt, you absolutely, if you don't want the Big Daddy IRS coming at you, talking about you owe them, you absolutely have to file a 1099-B, and you have to do your 1041, which is why y'all need an estate EIN number. But this alone can go down to the taxation office because it shows that they canceled out the debt. So at the point that the debt was canceled, so does the lien, and you can just do it as a stated, a challenge to lien, or take that, if you can get a copy of the settlement of account that shows the check, you're able to do it that way too. So hopefully that. I've sent and removed POA interest. Now I'm going to send promissory note to 1099-C. Now this is where I'm confused. When it comes to the steps, does it have to be in my state? Huh? Nephew, answer that.
I have set in the removal of POA interest. Now I'm going to send the promissory note. Now this is where I'm confused when it comes to the stamps. Does it have to be with my state, or where am I sending it to? Okay. So firstly, you wouldn't want to do the promissory note and the 1099-C, right? It's going to be one or the other. And again, 1099-Cs are for canceled debts that are over 3 years old, government debts, right? Now, when it comes to the stamps, I'm not sure what you mean. Does it have to be with my state, or where am I sending it to? I'm assuming you're talking about. Well, I'm actually not even sure what they're referring to when they say that. But if you're talking about where you need to send the actual instrument to, whoever the company is that you're paying is going to be where that goes. Does it have to be with my state? Yeah, that's the only part that I don't get. But you send it to the company. I would do promissory note, not the 1099-C, because you have to understand what that debt is used for. I hope that helps.
And then did you also send the POA to the IRS? You have to let Big Daddy know that you fired these people, right?
Yes.
You have to let him know that you fired him. How do you properly revoke POA? With a revocation of power of attorney in the 2048. Once you revoke the POA, you revoke. When you revoke this, you revoke this, okay? I'm sorry, Danielle, my heart goes to you. I lost my dad too, so I'm sorry. Hell, I lost everybody. But anyway,
My dad passed away, my sister's trustee for his trust. When we send the letter to SESR bills, do we incorporate daddy in the letter? Or just my sister since she is the trustee? Would you say that would say that she's the agent for daddy? She's gonna have to send in, since she's been appointed trustee, she'll have to send in her trustee documentation. And if she is trustee, that the courts have made her trustee over, you still have to advise the IRS of that. And yes, she will be signing as the signer for the trust itself, okay? Hopefully y'all are not in probate, because probate steal everything. Sorry, that's how I got to where I'm at now. They stole everything. Unfortunately.
And that's 50 questions.
Oh, and we got y'all 2 hours instead of 1. High five. For some reason, I believe once I cut this off, these questions, can you briefly explain the 56F? Nope. I told y'all I'm not touching those points. Y'all will not get me caught up coming out of the house about she did. She was sad and she calm. Fuck you. I ain't sad, y'all. I'm not sad. I'm living my best life. Okay. But if it was me, it'll go to whoever you. But they already filed one on you. So not unless you appoint yourself, that'll be up to where you send it at. And yeah, you can still send your contract if you did a 1099A. And I'm gonna answer this one and then I'm gonna be done. What might be something to assess with an SES will receive and went to dispute status, but after 30 days, removed? So let me ask you something. See, let me tell y'all where a lot of y'all messed up with American Express.
I was going to say,
go ahead, tell them, because we about to say the same thing. Go ahead, Evan.
so firstly, it's really two things. It's really two things. Firstly, did you follow up and send another one on the next month by the due date? That's the first question, because that's what you need to do. If you didn't do that, you need to keep on sending them. A lot of y'all send one and then don't send another one. And so that's not helping your case. And the other thing that I was going to say is specific to Amex, because so many of our students in particular are sending them in, right? I feel like they are playing with people and they are reversing some of them to see who's going to follow up. Now, like I said, if you did not send another instrument, that's also going to be part of what contributed to that decision, because when you send in more instruments, it will keep on processing and those disputes do clear. I'm not sure. Was that what you were going to say, Auntie?
Yes, sir. That's what I was going to say. And that's where most people mess up at. They send one and they like, oh, it's a dispute. And then you don't send another one. And you got to do it by the due date.
Yep.
They say it is due on 11/12, and they get it, it's considered late. So now it's considered abandoned. So that's where people mess up at. Then what happens is, after you send it so many times properly, then they'll automatically start doing it for you. But that's where people messing up at. They're only sending it one time and they go into dispute and then they do nothing else about it. And they get lackadaisy or whatever. Yep. And that's not how you're supposed to do it or whatever. You have to keep, you're going to start out. I was always taught you got to start out the way you want to hold out. That's why it's easier, and nephew's here to tell you guys. It's easier when you first get a car, if you do it the traditional way, to discharge it in the first, when it's time for that first payment. It's easier to discharge it compared to you paying it for 2 years cash, then now you get to flip up on it, okay? Yep. That's like, so like with nephew, he got his car, when it was time for your first payment, what did you do?
I sent it right to the bank before my first payment was due.
And what did
so
they
that
do?
It would get there on the day that the payment was due. And they sent me my title and the release of lien. They sent me that less than a week later, and I posted it all on my page.
A week later. And he did it the traditional way. He went, he got it, he even paid it. I think he paid the down payment, didn't he? We don't argue.
I sure did.
Yeah, we don't argue with this. Oh, you want down payment? Don't worry about it, because I'm gonna get it back here. I'm not gonna be standing there like, oh, down payments are illegal. If this is something that I want and you not budget with me and I don't know the PO process, guess what? I didn't use the road to 750 and I got a 750. You know what I'm saying? You want $500 or whatever, but here's a little cue for y'all though. If you're trying to get a car and they get to talk about down payment, even if your credit ain't worth nothing, okay? I will say, because they're gonna be like, oh, Capital One approved you for $55,000, but we need $10,000 down. Soon as hold on, y'all, got somebody knocking at my door. Well, no, they can wait. Soon as they say, oh my God. Hold on, y'all, let me call my son and tell him go.
I know what you're about to say, Auntie.
Go ahead, tell him.
Hold on. What was we just talking about now? Hold on. I need the subject matter. It just slipped my brain.
So yeah, I'm in a car dealership and they be like, hey, I need $10,000.
Oh yes, hold on. Yep, I got you. Hold up. Yep, it came back to me. Car dealership. So they say that the finance company said that they need the down payment. I will call the finance company up right in front of them and ask them if they need a down payment. And what they gonna tell you? They're gonna tell you that it's the dealership, and then you're gonna have them looking goofy.
And
So
they're gonna bye-bye. So for y'all who need a car and you worry about a down payment, you go through the process. And as soon as they be like, well, Alley Financial approved you for $52,000 and the car was only $32,000, but you need a down payment. Oh, you said Alley Financial? Okay, right there. Hey, Alley Financial, I was approved. I'm at such and such car lot. They gonna be able to see it in the system. And they're telling me I need a down payment. And the dealership is going to tell you word for word. I mean, the bank is gonna tell you, we do not accept down payments in a credit transaction. Now,
nope.
y'all that already got a car, if you had to put down a down payment, let me tell you something. The banks tell on the dealership. They not getting in that shit. You can send your bank an email and say, hey, I put down a down payment, but I don't see it on my paperwork. They're going to email you back and say, we didn't require a down payment. That's a smoking gun for now you to go back and get the dealership for fraud.
Boom.
You got the dealership and the bank. Both of them fraud. Because technically, let's be clear here, if you look at your car contract, and I just so happen to be looking at one, at the top it got the buyer name, and that's my client. Then it says seller creditor. And then in this, the name of the auto dealership. So when the fuck do I have to pay Capital One for? The contract was never with Capital One. It was with the dealership. So technically, whoever they sold it to is really not your responsibility to pay them. It's an offer to pay because the dealership was already paid. The bank was already paid. But the contract itself is really in between you and the seller creditor. And if you go pull up 16 CFR 433.12 and 3, you will see what it says a seller creditor is, and that this is actually a money purchase order. So if it's a money purchase order, that sounds like a money order to me, though. That means that this paid for it, and it did. So technically, when something is sold and is transferred, you do not have a responsibility to pay for it. That's just like when your mortgage company sells your mortgage and you get that letter in the mail saying that they sold the servicing rights. What is a servicer? Servicing right is just what that is. They have the right to service. Service don't mean collect a payment. And when they send you stuff in the mail saying that we have transferred and sold your mortgage, that is an offer. If you log into something on the new purchasers, on the new person's site, guess what? You just contracted. If I got a letter in the mail that said you just sold my debt to somebody else, I will put refused offer. And within 3 days, they have to have it back. Now, guess what? You already got a letter saying your mortgage been paid off. You never got in contract with the new people. Then I'm going to turn around and remove y'all as trustee. Boom, I got a house now. Yeah. That's that. That is that, John. So, let's say that I believe these questions stay up Who do you recommend for a securitization product? I don't know yet. That's all I can say. It's a lot of discrepancies going on with these audits and not being ready, and I'm not putting my name on nothing. Cause the first thing y'all gonna do, it can't even be my company. I can be referring y'all to PATHS2FRDM. I'm tired of y'all hollering about freedom, and it's my fault. So to be honest with you, I have not dropped the link because I ain't dropped the check. And I do not want to be responsible for stuff because y'all gonna forget that ABC 123 company did it, and you're gonna immediately say, well, PATHS2FRDM, and I'm tired of hearing PATHS2FRDM. So I don't, Google, take your chance. They high as hell too now. But I'm gonna work it out and get them right, like, because these audits makes a big difference. I will tell y'all, don't use, what's it called? Foreclosure, somebody, not mortgage audits. I'm not talking about Sean. You're just gonna have to proofread Sean shit. Proofread. The other company, that freight company, they not even certified. Somebody actually took one of their audit reports to court and lost the entire case because their auditor was not certified. Even though it showed everything it needed to be served to show for them to win, but it's because of who did it. That if they not, all I would do is tell you to find somebody. Find somebody that has the Bloomberg authorization to do it. Yeah, I don't know. I hear it's taking months for people to get their stuff, and I know y'all impatient, and I'm not about to hear it, so I'm gonna just leave that one alone. Leave that one alone. They mess up your food, call them and tell them that they messed it up so they can fix it.
Oh, no, yeah, I did, but I didn't even use money because like, it was really nasty, like, it was cold, soft and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, well, we don't pay for what we don't want to.
You want, all that?
Actually, I'm fine, so no, I'm on the fast. But thank you. Yeah, I'm about to have an 18-year hungry. So yeah, that's it, y'all. I have accused the number, but I purchased the security on TDA. How that go by admin, about Fidelity. You have to transfer it over to Fidelity. I believe these questions will stay up. So I will, take the time and like type them out to you guys if it does stay up. I think it do. Let me check. This is my first time doing this. The ones that I did not answer, I believe will stay up. So I will try to go back, to answer that. Can we have the back office? You know, nobody's gets that. Maybe the day I retire, I'll release it, which will be soon. But yeah, no. 32, I see something about the 32-pound paper. If you know anything about the International Bill of Exchange Act, you are right on the exact size paper that you need, but you better be on the right color. And it's not easy to find, and it's $90 per 30 sheets. Hold on, let me tell you how many sheets. There you go. It's 50 sheets. It is 32 pounds. And it's a certain color you need. It's a certain finish you need. I can tell you that it is software. And I can tell you that you go read the IBOE Act, it'll tell you, but I'm not gonna tell you what color you need. It's in there. But I'm gonna tell you it's $90 per pack of paper that you need. And on that note, if y'all like us doing a Q&A like this, let us know. Cause at the end of the day, we're trying to do this to help you guys be able to understand more or whatever. I do think that once a week I will open up the comments on YouTube outside of like how we did today for questions to be asked, and I can go in and type them in, or whatever. By the time we do the next one, I'll figure out a way around all of these extra things that Zoom is trying to get permission to on YouTube to be able to do live stream of this. But it will be in the, I will drop this recording into our YouTube VIP room or whatever. But the best advice that I can give you guys is one thing at a time. And you want to make it easier for you so you can stop looking up addresses and stuff, please look at your PO box. Everything should go to the PO box. Get a PO box so you can do PO box to PO box. Stamp, endorse, send it, and remove everybody POA, revocation of power of attorney, but you gotta let the big dogs know that you have removed them. And if you're removing somebody, you have to put yourself there or your trust there, right? So now that you can be over all of your stuff. So on that note, we gave y'all 2 hours and 20 minutes. I gave y'all an extra hour and 20 minutes today. I really like
when it's like this, so I will do this more often with you guys. I got some things that I have created for the VIP room that I will drop in there. For you guys, I either start putting on the closed captions for people who need it. I've started transcribing things for people that do better with reading it. And once again, me and Caleb appreciate every last one of you guys. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I will see y'all in the VIP room. I'm gonna drop a brain teaser in the VIP room tomorrow. It will not be dropped on IG. It'll be dropped in the room for you guys to open up your, your thinking packages so that you guys can get this better. And on that note, you guys have a very good night.
Good night.